So is the Yogi 2.0 cabinet all about Modi 3.0? Is this the end of an election and beginning of the campaign for the big battle of 2024? What are the many messages today being sent out by the BJP in the grandness of this entire oath taking ceremony and also in the composition of the cabinet that has been announced? Do you remember the last time that a state's chief minister took oath in such a grand ceremony? It looked as if this was the oath taking ceremony of the Prime Minister himself. Now to the composition. Now, when you talk of the composition of the cabinet, there are 20 OBC ministers. OBCs again is a vote bank that the BJP has worked very hard to consolidate, and it wants to ensure that going ahead, this is a vote bank that continues to stick with them. That is the reason why such a huge composition of the OBC ministers is being reflected in the UP cabinet. A lot of them are also Kurmis. 4 Jat ministers. Now, in the run-up to these elections, there was a lot of concern about the Jat voters because of the farmers' agitation. Will they stick with the BJP or not? What kind of a damage could they cause to the BJP? But we've seen the BJP working hard on consolidating the Jat voters too, allaying their fears and allaying their concerns, particularly by Amit Shah and the many meetings that he had with the Jat leaders. And this is the reason why that you had a considerable number of Jat voters voting for the BJP in 2022. So they have been rewarded. 4 Jat ministers named in the Yogi Cabinet 2.0. 7 Brahmin ministers. 8 Dalit ministers. This again is extremely significant because 2022 elections has also got us the story of how Jatavs are increasingly disengaged now with the BSP, with Behenji. The BSP is on a decline, the Dalit vote is up for grabs, and this is one constituency that the BJP does not want to let go of. You know, far away in Punjab, you're looking also at the Aam Aadmi Party vying for this same vote bank, the Dalit vote bank. The reason why they keep on talking about Baba Saheb Ambedkar. And the BJP obviously, remember, thinks about the future. And this is a cabinet for the future, for 2024. The reason why you're looking at such kind of a representation. 5 women ministers, women again in huge numbers, have voted for the BJP. That is why they find this representation in the Yogi cabinet. And out of these 5 women also, remember, 3 are Dalit women. 3 are Dalit women. This again tells you the entire plan, the entire calculation of the BJP. That, you know, how strongly they want to ensure that this is a vote bank that sticks to them now, that comes to them. They want to add this vote bank to their own kitty. So you do see a continuation of the social coalition that the BJP had kick-started in 2014. It solidified that social coalition later in the 2017, the 2019 election, and it wants to ensure that this is a social coalition that they're able to retain. They're able to retain going ahead, talking of the battle of 2024. Then there is a clear imprint of Delhi also on this cabinet. And I don't think that's very surprising. We have been talking about this. You have an ex-civil servant who's a part of the cabinet. Also a lot of focus on younger faces. There is a balance of the caste mix, as we have just spoken. And talking of the imprint of Delhi, you know, there are 2 names that we must talk about. One is A.K. Sharma, the other is Asim Arun. They both find their place in the Yogi Cabinet 2.0. Now, A.K. Sharma is someone who has more than a 2-decade-long association with Prime Minister Modi. And if you recall, the last time when he was in Uttar Pradesh, there were reports that Yogi Adityanath wasn't really comfortable with him and he didn't have much to do. But then because of the kind of work that he has done, particularly in the Varanasi belt with COVID and the management of COVID, he now finds a place in the Yogi 2.0 cabinet. He has the Prime Minister's ears, and Yogi Adityanath this time will have to deal with him. Don't forget that there has been a lot of talk also to ensure that the Labharti work or the beneficiaries continue to be the prime focus of the Modi government, also of the Yogi government going ahead, keeping in mind the battle of 2024. That is why when you get civil servants, when you get younger people, when you get technocrats, you want to focus on that last mile delivery. You want to make it better. You want to ensure that your last mile delivery gets you that vote that you're looking for in 2024. Then when you move ahead, because this time there is a fine balancing act that you see between Delhi and Lucknow in this entire cabinet. Because Yogi Adityanath, per se, I think, will also have to come to terms with the fact that this is a victory that just does not belong to him alone. This is a victory that would have not been possible had it not been for Delhi. But is he going to really, be a different Yogi Adityanath versus what we have seen him in his first tenure? This will hold the answer to the question whether he can succeed Narendra Modi. And does Delhi believe that Yogi Adityanath is the successor to Prime Minister Modi as and when there is a vacancy for the top job? Because right now we know that there is no vacancy for the top job at 2024. But can there be any comparison between Yogi Adityanath and Narendra Modi? Prime Minister Modi had his own Gujarat model when he was projected as the BJP's prime ministerial face. Does Yogi Adityanath also have his own UP model? What is that model? Is that model about ACBs? Is that model about bulldozer? Is that model about Thakurwad? Or Yogi Adityanath will have to go in for some course correction? He does enjoy the backing of the RSS. It is because of the RSS that Yogi Adityanath was handpicked. He was appointed as the Chief Minister of the state of Uttar Pradesh in 2017. And just before the oath-taking ceremony, you would recall how Mohan Bhagwat and Yogi Adityanath had that meeting also in Gorakhpur. And at the UP Legislative Party meet, we had seen Yogi Adityanath speaking about teamwork about 3 times. Does he realize that going ahead and talking of the battle of 2024, Yogi Adityanath can remain Upyogi for Narendra Modi only and only if he agrees to work as a team? Will we see Delhi this time more involved in the affairs of Uttar Pradesh? Going ahead, I think these are going to be extremely interesting questions to watch out for. The BJP speaks about Sabka Saath, Sabka Vishwas. So apart from the OBC, the Jat, the Brahmin, the Dalit, the women composition that we've spoken about, there is also one Sikh minister, one Muslim minister. So the BJP trying to give out a larger message to the voter that we are the party and we are the one that you can depend on and trust on, no matter which caste you might belong to, no matter what religion you might belong to. You hear the Prime Minister speaking again and again against caste, against dynasty. And I think those will remain the big talking points in the campaign ahead that you will now see. There are a lot of state elections due in the next few months, building up to the big battle of 2024. But UP in more ways than one today actually has set a lot of agenda clear of how the BJP is looking at that battle going ahead. It is focusing on delivery. It is focusing on those who perform. And that is why a lot of ministers, in a very big and a surprise move, also have been dropped. They've been dropped from the cabinet. The BJP is going for technocrats. They're going for people who can deliver. They want to ensure that there is a social engineering formula that they continue to stick to. They also have the Labharti work where they want to work on the last mile delivery. And this is also a message for the opposition, that which is the constituency the opposition now will buy for. We are going to be keeping a close eye on everything that you need to know. As always, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, again a quick reminder, please go ahead and subscribe to the news that you don't get. For the moment, thank you for watching.